Welcome to Under Review, the podcast where we review and discuss controversial sports moments. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Thea. Today's story sounds fake, but it's 100% real. A Little League coach told a kid to slide and got sued for it.
That's right. This happened in New Jersey. A journalist, Steve Piletti, broke it down in his article for NJ.com. Coach John Suk was filling in at a game, told a kid to slide into third base. The kid broke his ankle. Next thing you know, the parents were in court suing the coach for $500,000.
Let that sink in. $500,000 for a slide in baseball.
Let's look back at what happened that day. In April 2012, during a junior varsity baseball game, Jake Meeser, a freshman at Bound Brook High School, was instructed by his coach, John Suk, to slide into third base. Meeser complied, but his cleat reportedly dug into the dirt, causing his ankle to roll over and sustain a serious injury. Despite undergoing multiple surgeries, Meeser's ankle never fully recovered, and he was advised against participating in high-impact activities like sports.
Meeser and his family filed a suit against Coach Suk, alleging that his instruction was negligent and led to the injury. This case raised questions about the responsibilities and liabilities of coaches in youth sports. After a lengthy legal battle, a jury found in favor of Coach Suk, determining he was not liable for the injury. This case sparked discussions about the potential implications for youth sports, particularly concerning the risks of litigations faced by coaches and the impact of willingness of individuals to volunteer in such roles.
Joining us today, we have Oliver, a youth baseball coach with over a decade of experience, and Parker, a parent of two and a vocal advocate for safer youth sports.
Let's get started. Oliver, when you first saw the article, what went through your mind?
Honestly, man, I felt disbelief and anger. I've been a coach for about 12 years, and telling a player to slide is a basic routine. It's no harm in any sort of way, and suing a coach or a volunteer for that amount of money it's very discouraging for other volunteers who are looking to come out and help kids and the youth.
Parker, do you see it the same way?
Not entirely. I understand Oliver's point, but as a parent who's been around the game for a long time, I've seen kids been pressured into playing through pain and to making aggressive plays. To me, it's not really about the slide. It's more about the accountability of the coach and whether or not he was ready to make that call or not.
But this wasn't a tackle or a risky play. It was a slide into third. That's about as textbook as it gets, isn't it?
Sure, but even textbook plays can still cause harm. That's when proper risk assessment comes through. Was the slide necessary in that moment? Was the coach considered the kid's readiness and experience level? It's only a JV baseball game. Those are all fair questions to ask.
But at the end of the day, we can say that, but it's impossible to coach that way, you know? Every moment, everything that happens on the base or whatever sport you're playing, everything's a split-second decision. You know what I mean? If we stop every 10 seconds to consider what's going to happen, it just slows the game down, and we're not playing a real game. And, any sport, injuries happen, whether it's a slide or not. So we can't just put it on just because the coach told him to slide. That was the big point of it all. Injuries are going to happen.
Did you ever worry about potential legal consequences when coaching and giving instructions?
Yes, I have definitely thought of legal consequences as a coach. But, as a coach, our job is to protect players and help them grow. And there's always going to be injuries that happen regardless, since it's a physical sport. You never think in the moment that something purposely is going to happen, you tell a kid to slide, which is a routine thing. You never know what the aftermath is going to be. So yes, we do think of legal consequences.
Now let's hear an opinion from a parent's standpoint.
I honestly, I don't think much about the legal issues within, the sport that my child plays. I trust the coach to keep the kids safe and trust them to be trained properly and to understand the game enough to be able to keep my kids safe from major injuries. Of course, bumps and bruises are going to come along the way. But, after what happened, realizing how serious injuries can be and how complicated things can get when someone gets hurt, it can prove to be a difficult thing to not always have those legal issues in your head now when you watch your kid play. But I always want my kid to have a positive experience while playing sports, and I think coaches need to just be properly trained and be responsible for player safety.
Thank you both for your responses.
So now, let's talk legal. The incident occurred 7 years before it finally hit the courtroom. The judge ruled in Mr. Sook's favor, citing that the child voluntarily participated and the coach's actions weren't reckless.
But by then, Sook had already gone through the legal stress, reputational damage, and lost time. So Parker, do you still think the lawsuit was necessary?
I think the legal system should be a last resort to solve issues within youth sports, but sometimes it is the only way sometimes to force accountability, for example, like on a school board or like a coach. I also find like $500,000 to be a bit excessive in these terms, but if the parents feel that their child was put into an immense amount of danger due to a coach's poor judgment, and you want answers, that may be your only course of action.
But this really wasn't poor judgment. It was just simple coaching. And it sets a horrible example for volunteers that feel like they need a lawyer now to coach and help coach kids.
You bring up a good point.
So then what's the real takeaway here? Is it about communication, education?
Maybe it's both. Parents need to understand the sport that they're putting their kids into, and coaches need to recognize when a player is uncomfortable or not ready for a certain level of play.
Yeah, that's where I'd say I land as well. I'm not anti-sport. I just want more awareness within the sports. Injuries also don't mean someone failed. But they also shouldn't just be brushed off like nothing happened without examining the situation.
That's completely fair. But let's not criticize the coach over one bad break, Otherwise, that just means youth sports won't survive and we won't have people to come out and volunteer anymore and coach.
Powerful opinions from both of you. Thank you to Oliver and Parker for bringing your honest perspectives today.
This case may have been thrown out, but it threw a big question into the conversation. Who's really responsible when something goes wrong in kids' sports?
Let us know what you think. Should coaches be held accountable, or was this lawsuit out of bounds?
Tell us your thoughts on our socials @UnderReview.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode.